Well, good evening. I hope everybody has had an amazing weekend. Thank you so very much for hopping on. Whether you're watching live or you're catching this in playback, I just really appreciate you being on. I am pretty new to doing lives on YouTube, so thank you for bearing with me. But hopefully, I can see some of your comments. So if you are on, please do let me know that you're on. Just say hello, tell me your name, and who invited you. And tonight, I am going to, hey, Gail, I am going to be sharing with you. I'm just excited to share with you my story and to just take you on a little brief journey tonight as I unwrap the pink perks available through a Mary Kay opportunity. But before I do that, as I said, if you're hopping on, please make sure that you comment if you haven't already. And if you're watching this in playback, make sure that you comment because those of you who watch and comment will go into my drawing for a free product from our fall line. So you don't want to miss out on that. Also, you'll get 5 extra entries if you fill out a brief little survey that I will be posting on YouTube right below this video after I end the live tonight. Okay, so just be watching for that little survey, or if I see that you're on or you watched and you commented, I'll just privately text you that survey. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So let me just share with you, let me just start from the beginning. You know, Mary Kay found me when I was on a year's maternity leave from the school system. You know, my daughter, who's 27 now, she was 9 months old. I was living what I thought was the dream. I had always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, or at least for a little while. And so I had been given the opportunity, my father-in-law, he said, I'll pay your rent if you want to take off and, you know, be off for a year. So I gladly accepted that offer. But, you know, and deep down at that time in my life, I really wasn't consciously looking for anything. But I knew after about 4 years in the school system, I did not want to do that for 30 years. I already knew that. And so rewind 2 years earlier, I was working in the school system and I went to my first Mary Kay party. So some of you may have attended a party or a facial or a virtual session. Well, at that first party, I fell in love with our eye makeup remover and our foundation. And so what happens when you fall in love with something? You just keep using it, right? And so I would reorder it through someone. Actually, I didn't have like somebody who personally serviced me like I probably service you or one of the consultants who invited you. But I would get it through somebody who had a girl. Okay. And so honestly, nobody had ever told me anything about Mary Kay until that year that I had taken that maternity leave when my daughter was 9 months old. One of my friends from high school, she was actually a high school classmate. We were teaching school at the same place. And she had started a Mary Kay business for herself. And she called me out of the blue one day. She had had a baby too. And she said, Jill, I am doing something new and I really would love for you to hear about it. So it's really fun. I'm making some great extra income and I'd really love to share it with you. And I said, and she told me it was Mary Kay. And I initially, I reacted like, no way. I couldn't ever consider doing something like that, or I couldn't ever see myself doing something like that. And the reason was I had a whole bag of excuses. Okay. And the reason I said that is I said, I'm too shy. I don't know many people because I am shy. And I don't meet people easily. I hate sales because honestly, I had tried to sell products, not products, but I had tried to sell things when I was in band, you know, when you did fundraisers and my parents would just say, hey, we'll just buy our token amount. Don't ask anybody. Don't beg anybody. So I didn't really have a great impression of sales. And also, you know, I honestly was not a makeup person. I didn't experiment with makeup, didn't really hang around a group of girls in high school, didn't really wear makeup. So didn't really know much about it. And I thought, well, how can I teach somebody about this if I don't know what I'm doing? But just hold on because I learned a lot. Okay. And my impression of Mary Kay initially wasn't correct. Okay. But I wanted to help my friend. Okay. So even though she asked me and I had this whole bag of excuses, I wanted to help my friend, honestly, deep down. So I decided to listen. And I thought, you know, I'll just say no politely at the end and that'll be the end of it. Well, it wasn't the end. It was actually the beginning of something that ended up being, honestly, one of the best decisions I'd ever make in my life. And I say one of the best because the very best decision was when I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. And the second best decision was when I said yes to marry my husband. And, he, through that relationship, have been, received the best gift, which are my amazing children. So that's why I say it's one of the best decisions. But it really was. Next to those two things, it really was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe tonight, with you listening and hearing a little bit more as I unwrap these pink perks, you know what? Hopefully I plant a seed, and it certainly could be life changing for you too. So what transpired between that phone call with my friend when I said I would listen and my yes was this: a lot of questioning, a lot of fear, a lot of doubting myself and my abilities, asking myself, could I really do something like that? Could I be good at that? Um, but honestly, deep down, what transpired was a deep desire, a desire for something different in life. Have you ever been there? Have you ever just wanted something different? Um, I didn't want to be shy forever. I'm a twin, and my twin sister is very outgoing. She's an attorney, and she's always been just, she meets people easily. And so, I always kind of thought life just looks like is easier for her. But in all honesty, that was my perception. It really wasn't. But I just, I really wanted to kind of break free from some of that shyness. Also, I desperately wanted girlfriends. At the time Mary Kay came into my life, I really didn't have girlfriends. My mom was my best friend, and she's amazing. But I needed some other people my age. I needed some mentors. And so that was something else that I was really looking for. And honestly, I really, really wanted to create experiences for my family. I grew up in a family that was, I felt very loved. I had everything I needed, but we didn't get to do a whole lot. We didn't have a whole lot of experiences. My dad had an uncle, and we would go to the same beach house every summer. And occasionally we would go visit my aunt in Atlanta. But other than that, we really didn't go anywhere. And so that was something I knew that I really wanted. I wanted to be able to create experiences for my family. And the thing about it is, I knew that that was going to take money. Okay. And you do not go into the school system for the money. If you've ever been in the school system, you know that. And so, any of you really, are you at a season in your life right now where maybe some extra income could come in handy? Well, I said yes to Mary Kay 26 years ago. And honestly, it has created some amazing experiences for me and my family. And that was one of the reasons, as I said, I joined, and boy, has it delivered. Once I joined in February of 1999, I returned the next August to my school job. Every summer after returning and doing Mary Kay on the side, it was my part-time side gig, I was able to create a fun experience for my family. A trip to Disney, a cruise. I purchased a pop-up camper. We had about 10 years of fun with that, family trips, a trip to California, out west to the Tetons, to Yellowstone, and that's just a few. These memories have created experiences that have been priceless. So that leads me to the first pink perk that I want to unwrap tonight, and that is income. Okay. Most people join Mary Kay for extra income. You can make extra income on the side while working your business as much or as little as you want. About 80% of people who do become part of Mary Kay, they actually work a full-time job, or they're a stay-at-home mom, or they're retired and they want to supplement their income. You can adjust the time you spend in your business depending on your goals and how much money you want to make. It's really up to you. You can make 50% profit on everything you sell at suggested retail, no matter if it's from your personal website, if it's through a facial, virtual or in person, through a little group session, through a sample, a catalog, whatever. You have so many options to be able to promote and sell the product. We also have the opportunity to build a team. Now, that's not something that you have to do, but it's a second avenue of income, stream of income. And you start earning commissions straight from the company on your very first team member. And guys, Mary Kay is not an MLM. It is not a multi-level marketing scheme, okay? We are a dual marketing company. It's just us and Mary Kay. And so everybody that joins Mary Kay has the opportunity to make the same amount of money. If they decide to build a team and they have the same number of people on their team and those team members order the same amount, then they make the same amount. Okay. And that's not how MLM works. So who out there needs some extra income? What could you use some more income for? Well, the holidays, I know it's crazy to think. I was just telling my son today, can't believe it's almost October. And you know what? People are already thinking, they're already buying for the holidays. And so this is a great opportunity to get started in Mary Kay and to promote your gift giving services. If you're crafty and you're creative and you want to put together some Mary Kay gifts in some fun little packaging, simple but cute, it's a great time to get started and have some additional streams of income from gift giving. And honestly, I'm excited right now to make the extra income because my daughter, the one who was 9 months old when I said yes to Mary Kay, she just got engaged 3 weeks ago. So I am motivated to make money to pay cash for her wedding. So what would you use some extra income for? Comment, let me know. Okay. Let's talk about another pink perk. And this one is called recognition. Okay. Now, this was one I was not really comfortable with when I first started. And it was just because I wasn't used to being praised. And, Mary Kay Ash, our founder, she said that in Mary Kay, P&L does not stand for profit and loss. It stands for people and love. Mary Kay believed with all her heart, and so do I, that there's power in recognizing women. She believed in lifting others up, making them feel special. She always said, imagine that lady that you're with has an invisible sign around her neck that says, make me feel important, make me feel special. And so she said, you know what? When you appreciate a woman, she feels appreciated, she'll work harder. And so in Mary Kay, we praise people to success. We help you find your unique gifts and talents and show you how you can focus on those, which helps build your confidence, which truly helps you embrace all those God-given talents and skills that He's given you so that you can really step in and be the best version of yourself. I love that. So how are you using your unique gifts from God? How are you using? Oh, and I see, Gail, that you said bills would be what you would use that extra income for. And you know what? I love that we have the opportunity to use that money for whatever. But I always tell consultants, you know what? It's amazing to be able to have this as a side stream income to help pay bills, but always pick something every month, something fun that you can do for yourself. Maybe it's a massage, or maybe it's dinner with your husband, something fun to do with a little bit of your profits. Because you know what? That just makes it a little bit more exciting. Okay. So how are you using your unique gifts? When we help women feel appreciated and cared about and supported, it builds your confidence, right? And so recognition is about way more than prizes in Mary Kay. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. The prizes are nice. Okay. Yes, your mani and petties. That is something that's fun that you could look forward to and have some extra income to pay for. I love that. And, I was saying that, recognition, Mary Kay does offer some amazing prizes. We have monthly, quarterly, and yearly prizes. Actually, this is the first diamond ring ever won in Mary Kay. This is another one. It's an aquamarine. And you know what? I love those. I'm not a huge jewelry person, but hey, if it's free, it's for me, like I say. And so, and you know what? The career card program, this July, I picked up my 13th career card that I earned the use of. And so, only less than 1% of anybody in Mary Kay earns a career card, but it's truly available to anybody who wants to step up into leadership. And that has freed up my family. That money that I would have paid for a car payment for the last 24 years, I've been able to do other things with. Like, for example, my daughter came out of college with a master's degree in architecture, and she had no student loan debt. We were able, through help with my Mary Kay business, to be able to pay cash for her college. So that was truly a blessing. This last perk helps me also think of another pink perk in Mary Kay. And so when you start believing in yourself and you start increasing your confidence, and, it helps, it grows you personally. And so one of the hugest perks in Mary Kay that I have, that I hold is the most valuable to me is the personal growth and the increased confidence. Mary Kay found me as a shy, introvert who had a lot of baggage and a lot of beliefs that I brought from my childhood, beliefs about how I didn't measure up, how I wasn't smart enough, and you know what? I didn't speak up much because I was always concerned about what people would think, if they would laugh at me or if I wouldn't seem smart. Okay. And so I'm happy to say that, you know what? I I have grown so much in the last 26 years that I've been in Mary Kay. You know, before I had a pretty low self-confidence, but now I have a strong sense of who I am and I walk into a room differently. I truly do. I'm more confident in this role that was way, way out of my comfort zone at first. I'm still an introvert by nature, but I've learned how to be confident in social situations where I'm with people that I don't know. And you know what? That has really been life transformational. It truly has. It's opened doors for me to mentor others, not only as a sales director in Mary Kay, but also in other areas of my life. I volunteer locally here with a nonprofit, Safe Harbor. I mentor women um, who are going through a transformation themselves and are getting back on their feet. And I love that I can mentor these women. I've also held roles in my church, leadership roles. And, you know, honestly, it's just been able to, it's given me confidence to step into roles like I am an ambassador with our local chamber of commerce. And I meet new businesses. I visit businesses on behalf of the chamber. And that's something I would have never been comfortable doing 26 years ago. So, you know what? I think that really what it takes is a willingness you have to be trainable, teachable. And you know what? That's what I was. And I just learned. I took the focus off myself and put it on other people. And so I really and truly believe that confidence is a superpower that every single woman out there needs. They truly do. To introduce you to this next pink perk is something that I believe is another huge one that really attracts people, and that is flexibility. Okay. I love how flexible my Mary Kay business is. I've worked this as a full-time stay-at-home mom, as I told you. I've worked it as with a full-time job, as a on the side, a very side business where I would hold 2 or 3 appointments a month. And then, of course, I've worked it full-time, all the while putting my family first and my priorities in order. That's what Mary Kay designed this company to be. She said, put God first, your family second, and your career third. It all works in that order. And so I've been able to have that flexibility to be able to be there and do things with my family. You know, my Mary Kay business is fun and it gives me the freedom to fit it in to my schedule. Okay. I can meet with potential clients in person. I can do that virtually, which we got really good at doing during COVID. I also, you know, which the nice thing about virtual is it allows me to get in front of busy moms who maybe have kids, you know, who have kids at home, school age kids, who might be easier to jump on a Zoom or a Facebook chat than, you know, to actually meet in person. And it just allows me to also be able to take my business on the road with me, virtually and in person. You know, wherever I go, I have an opportunity to meet people that can become potential clients. So I love that. And when I meet those people in different places, we have what's called a customer delivery service, which allows me to be able to give them quick, personalized service. That means the orders can be shipped straight from Mary Kay to those clients. And you know what? I never even touched the product. So that's amazing. And we have some new things coming down the pipe in the next couple of months. It's even going to make it even easier for us to be able to service people anywhere. So that's exciting. And I should also mention that we don't have territories. You can service anybody in the United States, family or friends across the country, and there's no monthly quotas. So it really offers a lot of flexibility in how you choose to work your business. And finally, let's unwrap the pink perk of tax benefits. So, guys, the cool thing about being an independent contractor with Mary Kay, you own your own business. Okay. You don't work for Mary Kay. But you know what? You have the opportunity. There's so many things you already pay for that then can become a deduction when you do your taxes and you itemize. For example, you can deduct a portion of your cell phone bill as a part-time consultant. Home internet. Mileage. Oh my gosh, that's a big one. The 2025 standard mileage deduction is 70 cents per mile. So when you go make a delivery, you go to the post office, you go run to the store to get some cotton balls or whatever you need for your business, you can keep track of that mileage. And that's huge, y'all. There's things, so many other things that you can write off as well. But it becomes a huge benefit to you at tax time. So now that I've unwrapped some of the pink perks, which one of those most spoke to you? What's most enticing to you from those? Okay. Was it money? Was it the flexibility, the personal growth, the confidence? Was it the girlfriends? And, I alluded to, I wanted girlfriends when I joined Mary Kay. And that's one thing I didn't really talk about. But oh my gosh, this pink culture, the girlfriends that I've earned, that I've gained through my customers or girlfriends, through the women that I work with has just been priceless. It absolutely has. So what entices you most from what I shared with you? Okay. I'd love to know. And you know what? The other thing I want to tell you is that this business has put me in front of women who think bigger. And when you become like the people that you hang around. And so it's helped me to be a bigger thinker, a more positive person. And honestly, the things that have kept me, that's what's kept me in this business for 26 years. It's the friendships and it's the personal growth, and money has been awesome, but that's kind of taken second place to those other perks. And before I share with you what it takes to get started, let me share with you just a few qualities, okay, that we're looking for. And you don't have to have all these qualities to be successful in Mary Kay, but the more you have, the better. You need to have at least 3 out of these 6. Awesome. So Gail, you said all of them. Yes, they're all enticing. But yes, flexibility. You can't put a price on flexibility. That's absolutely the truth. So I love that. So number 1, what are we looking for? We're looking for busy people. And you may laugh at that. But honestly, reason we look for busy people is because busy people know how to weave things in. They know how to get things done. Okay. And you just learn to weave this in. It just becomes kind of second nature. It becomes something that you talk about, you bring up in conversations, and you just ask people, okay, have you ever tried Mary Kay? And you just talk about it. Number 2 reason is we look for people that need money. Now, why do we do that? Well, because money is a motivator. Okay. So you remember I asked you a little bit earlier what you would use money for? Well, that's why I said you need to decide what are you going to use that money for, because that's a motivator. And every month we encourage consultants to set a sales goal and put a picture of what they're working for. If it's a bill, if it's a family trip, if it, whatever that may be. Okay. Because money, it's not that money makes you happy, but it gives you choices. Okay. And if you're all cashed up, there's not many people that tell me they're all cashed up, but there are some. And you know what? Even if that's you, there's plenty of opportunity to make money and be a blessing to other people. I love that. I love the fact that the more I make, the more I can be a blessing to other people, the more I can give. The number 3 characteristic we're looking for is somebody that's really not the sales type. And I say that I certainly wasn't the sales type, because we want to attract people. We don't want to attack them. We don't want anybody that's pushy and aggressive. Now there is importance, or there's a skill in following up, and being persistent, but not pushy. Okay. Because there is definitely, follow up. There's a fortune in the follow up, we like to say, but we don't really look for people that are the sales type. So number 4, somebody who really doesn't know a lot of people, or this can go the other way as well. I mean, the more people you know, the more potential customers that you have. But honestly, it doesn't matter if you know 10 people. Okay, I can work with you and show you how to turn those 10 people into 30 or 50 people. How? Well, every person that you know can introduce you to people they know. Okay. And when you give them an incentive, which is why we have amazing hostess perks. And if they introduce you to some of their friends virtually or in person, you can help them earn some free product. And so that's how you really turn the people you know into more referrals. Okay. And honestly, 6 weeks after I started my Mary Kay business, I was working with people I didn't even know before I joined Mary Kay. And I love, love, love that that's why this business is referral based. And we just meet people through the people that we know, and we build those relationships. The number 5 characteristic is somebody who's family oriented. And the reason for that is because women in particular We will do things for our families that we wouldn't do for ourselves. And so let your family be a reason to try this, not a reason not to try it. Okay. Um, and also people that are family oriented or what I feel like are more team players. Okay. And we do play on a team in Mary Kay. We work on goals collectively together, and we each have our own individual business as well. And then the sixth quality we look for is somebody who is a decision maker. Now, I know I haven't always been a great decision maker in life. Sometimes people will be like, my husband will be like, where do you want to go to eat? And I'll be like, I don't know. And so I laugh at that. But you know what I really mean by that is somebody who can make a decision when she hears something, when you've heard what you've heard tonight. I want you to just think about listen to your gut, okay? Because honestly, if after you watch this today, whenever you're watching this, if you get off and you start questioning, like I did when I first heard about this and wondering, could I, should I, would I be any good? What could happen? It's probably something you should just give a try. Okay. And honestly, it's it's something it's just a decision. It's a decision. Do you want to try this? Okay. You're not signing your life away. You're not saying that you have to work a certain number of hours or work your business in any particular way. That is totally flexible. And honestly, the bottom line is we're looking for people who can make a decision. The lights don't have to always be green. Okay. They actually won't be. If you're waiting for the perfect time, there's never going to be the perfect time. Okay. So, what does it take to get started? Well, this is the exciting part. You can join for just $35. That's right. Now, for $35, you get a personal website and you can allow your friends and family to shop with you, and you can work the business virtually. And you get support and training to help you do that. Or if you really want to build a business and you want to do some in-person sessions and have products to sample with people and to show virtually or in person, then adding on a $90 kit that has over $400 worth of full-size product is the way to go for sure. And, that way it gives you products, as I said, to be able to sample with friends and family. If you don't currently have the product yourself, it gives you a way to start using the product yourself because you are your best advertisement. Beyond that, there's no obligation. Now, a lot of women do decide to have products on hand because honestly, we're in competition with those other stores, with Sephora, Ulta, with Walgreens, where people can go in, they can buy a product and take it home today. And so, you know what? But there's no requirement. You can absolutely run your business any way that you want to run it. And I'm just so glad that you are here tonight to learn a little bit more. And I'm just so glad that I said yes to Mary Kay 26 years ago. It wasn't the perfect time. I had a little baby. I had a lot of things on my plate. I was not very confident, as I already told you. I didn't have the skills that I thought it would take to be successful at this. And I didn't have the confidence that I would be any good at this, as I said. But you see, I really thought Mary Kay was just about sales. And I'm so glad that I decided to give it a try because it was way out of my comfort zone. This was something that I just really had a hard time conceptualizing that I could do. But what I found that Mary Kay is really about education. It's about teaching women about taking care of their skin. It's about building relationships. And I love that. As a guidance counselor, as was my previous career, I listen to people and I love to teach. Well, now I just teach a different subject. And that just teaching has always come natural to me. That's why we have a lot of previous teachers and nurses, people from social work that come into Mary Kay. And, building relationships are truly at the heart of who I am. So I learned to embrace Mary Kay and see it differently. And you know what? It's become an amazing tool that has truly helped me embrace my calling. So what is that something more that you want to create in your life? Maybe, just maybe, Mary Kay could be the avenue to make that happen. I know one thing's for sure. You certainly won't know unless you give it a try. And you aren't committing, as I said, to a certain level of activity or a certain length of time. You can truly try it on, see how it fits. It can ebb and flow with what you have going on in your life and your needs. And, I love that. Absolutely love that about my Mary Kay business. But I'll tell you, it's like anything. You do get what you put into it. It's in direct proportion to the effort that you put in. It's one decision. But ladies, truly, it could be a decision like mine. It could be life transforming. Will you take a leap of faith? Will you step out of your comfort zone and will you give this a try? Just see for yourself. Well, I hope I've given you some food for thought today, some things to ponder. Thank you so very much for watching. And don't forget to fill out the brief survey. And I wish you pink dreams. And if you have questions, I'm happy to answer those. So please post your questions and I will follow up with them in the chat. Good night. Thanks for joining.